You fell right for the engineered system. You think you're an entrepreneur, you think you're free, but you're more enslaved than you ever have been. You completely fell for it. Back in the day, an entrepreneur, or when you look at wealthy, successful entrepreneurs, you see a strong man or a strong woman with skills who have contributed to society, that have built something that serves a purpose. They're strong people, they have strong values, they've stood the test of times. They're usually in their 50s and 60s when you look at the really successful entrepreneurs. Look at today, look at the mess that's been created. And I'm telling you now, it's all been engineered and by design. Most people have no idea what freedom even is, let alone what it means. They don't even know their version of success. They borrowed it from some YouTuber like me, who sold you their version of success and you bought it. And you know why you bought it? Because you don't know how to think for yourself. Look, first of all, you don't have any resilience. You hit a hard time and you fold. You don't just fold, you jump to a next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And you buy what anybody else sells you because you can't think for yourself. You let other people do it for you. So you want a dream, they sell you it and you buy it. You think freedom is in cars and watches and all this material nonsense, which actually just fuels a void that's always been missing and will always be missing. As I said, you look at an older, put well together, well-rounded entrepreneur, they have a strong family, they have strong morals, they have strong values. But you, on the other hand, will sell your soul for a quick fix. You don't understand the journey of an entrepreneur. You don't understand the journeying of what it means to be coached, to be mentored. Because what's a mentor these days? Somebody that has a nice car or pretends to have what you think you want, and all of a sudden they're your mentor until what? Until a better offer comes along, and then you abandon them. What does real journeying, what does real mentorship look like? If I was you, I would watch The Karate Kid. That's real mentorship. Mr. Miyagi takes Daniel on a journey from him being a boy to a champion, and he teaches him what it really means to be a mentor. He teaches us what it really means to be a mentor. He teaches him character before the technique. He teaches him how to develop independence, and he leads by example. He goes first. Like most people don't want to go first. They just want to tell everybody else what to do so that they become somebody that's worshipped, and they just want to be the mentor out of ego. He sees the potential in him before he sees it in himself, and he wants him to grow into a person that he can see, a champion, not for himself, but just for the privilege of seeing who he can become. And he teaches him through experience. Guys, in this modern day generation, very few people have actually done what they say. And because you lack the ability to think, you fall for everything. You buy every course. You buy every promise. As I say, you're so desperate for a dream, you buy the dream and they sell it. And that's why stupid people become famous. And that's why people who look rich are now your version of success. And let's just be honest, do things like OnlyFans and all these ridiculous ventures actually work and exist if we had a strong character and we actually had a strong generation of thinkers? No, because guess what? Young men, young people, but young men in particular, it all starts at home and it starts with a strong family. And when you don't have a family led with a strong man in particular, then we have a weak society. So we have weak kids who are actually paying money. Check this out, guys. We have kids paying money to look at girls naked. What are we doing here? If that's a sign of people that don't really know who they are, don't even know what's real, and just have completely lost sight of reality, then there's the evidence. These things shouldn't exist. And here's the funny thing, you mistake success for what's working. Sometimes something can be working, you might be making some money, actually leads to nowhere. And because you have no moral compass, no values, or no sense of reality, you actually don't know what you're working towards. There's a way that seems right to us, but leads to destruction. Do you know how many people I see heading for a cliff edge, but they don't want to hear it? They want to hear what tickles their fancy and what they want to hear. They don't want to hear what they need to hear. And so for me, it's quite sad looking out and seeing this generation, what they're willing to give up in pursuit of what they want. Here's the funniest thing. When kids start to make a little bit of money, all of a sudden they become this high-end entrepreneur and they want to show everyone what they've done, what they have, versus actually build something with real contribution, to really serve something, to build a real business or a real brand that's going to add value and become a success in 20, 30, 40 years. Instead, you make your 5K per month and all of a sudden you sleep until 1 in the afternoon. Do you understand how unattractive that actually is if you want to build a strong family, for example? Do you really think about who you're going to attract? And again, I don't want to be disrespectful, but you're going to attract exactly what you are. A fake, egotistical, overly proud person. And what kind of relationship will that create? More of what we see today. All of a sudden, you make this bit of money and you think you're some, top entrepreneur. You're waking up at 1 in the afternoon, you're not taking care of yourself, but you think you're this top guy because you're getting views online, people like you, but they don't really like you. They just like the idea of what you do, or they like the idea of the version you're pretending to be. But what are we doing here? Do we actually want to become entrepreneurs and business people with high morals? Or do we just want to be somebody that just buys some friends, looks good online, and just rolls through life pretending they're somebody else? I think it's about time we got serious about how to become a success rather than just looking or pretending to be one. This might be a straight talking video, but this is all with complete love and sincerity. I want nothing more than to see you win and be your greatest self. And I can actually probably tell you with my chest that I probably love and care for you more than your own family, because it's true. But I need to tell you the truth. And this is coming from somebody that's done this. I've been a hustler. I made a lot of money. I was 22 years old when I got involved in business. I've been doing this for 11 years. The difference between me is that I found myself at a crossroads and I decided that I'm picking value systems, morals, and a strong, fulfilling, long-term career over a quick check, looking the part, and having fake friends and fake mentors. I found great people to follow, which I've followed them for the whole entire time. And what separated them from somebody else was who they were, how long they've been doing it, and their actual real lived experience. I made a decision. And I can promise you now, hand on heart, you could take anybody, and if you sat them down with a lie detector test, they could never say that I've done anything to do them over. I have never had to throw away my morals, throw away my values for money, because I wanted to build real success. How many of you can honestly say that? Or are you willing to give up anything in the pursuit of what you want? And that's why most people struggle. They don't have any real friends in business. They just have acquaintances and people that they have when they need something, or maybe you are that person. And if you're sick and tired of being in this, what I call entrepreneurial matrix, I think it's about time that you locked in, made a serious decision. Stop being the person that buys books to say you've bought them, reads books to say you read them, but actually study what it means to be successful, actually apply it and set yourself apart from everybody else. Because in a world where everybody's trying to fit in, I realized that we're all born to stand out. And if we lean into who we really are, we will become unrecognizable to the rest of people. And you know what? There's something about authenticity and a realness about people that is so deeply inspiring. Do you know why? Because everybody would love to be themselves, but they just can't. They cannot imagine not being like the rest of the crowd. Here's what I'll tell you. There's kind of two waves to the entrepreneurial world, and this is from absolute experience. The first come up and then the second realization. And this is what I do. I meet a lot of people who have made money and now at a complete disastrous crossroads because they realize they built everything on sand. And now what they've done is they've built a reputation on somebody that they don't even know who they are. They've made kinds of money and they don't even know how to handle it. And now they're pulled into a position where they're a full-time character. They're a full-time personality. And life is basically a pantomime. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds exhausting, and I'm so glad that I never took that on. But I know there's so many people that struggle like that. I guarantee you're probably watching this right now, and it's hitting you to the core because you know you've become that person. Do you understand how liberating it is to just be who you are every single day, unapologetically, not wondering how many likes or how many views or who likes you or who doesn't or who says what about you? There is a real freedom about that. That's the secret. Freedom isn't out there. Freedom isn't in a book or a coach or a mentor or a watch or a car. It will always be inside. There's something that sets real entrepreneurs and real business people aside from all these fakes and rise and falls. And it's very simple. Be true to who you are and be true to what you say. See a successful person, when they say they're going to do something, they do it. When they make a promise, they fulfill it. When they start something, they finish. And most people, they jump from one thing to another. They say what needs to be said to fulfill a small purpose or to get a small result, but they don't think long term. And this is the problem. How strong is your word? If you say you're going to be somewhere, are you there? Or do you turn up late every single week? Basic punctuality, this young generation doesn't understand. If you say you're going to be somewhere at 10 o'clock, be there. When you say hello and meet someone, shake their hand. These are all such, you might think are small things. You might think that these are such small things, but this is what separates the real deal from the small fakes. And can I tell you something? The real people spot it a mile away. And that's why I'm not here to say that I'm better than anybody or above anybody, because that doesn't exist. I would say I feel like I'm aside from other people because I just choose to do it correctly. And that's why it's very easy for me to look from afar and see these things. And it really does sadden me sometimes because people don't understand that there is a better way. And you don't have to be in this cesspool matrix of entrepreneurship. You can be the real deal. Not to tell everybody you're the real deal, but to actually be the real deal. Build a successful life, have a great, strong family, be a strong, dependable, reliant person. How much better does that sound than what you're currently doing, which is probably shilling yourself for a few pounds here and there and jump into the next thing at all costs? How many genuine business partners and genuine friends do you have? When you're in your darkest moments, do you have anyone you can actually rely on, or are they just there when they need something? Think about it. Let me give you an example of how disingenuine we are and how rotten our character really is. There is a lot of people out there that are claiming to have millions of pounds or looking like they've got it all figured out and have all this money and they're such a great person. But when it comes to supporting causes, for example, we're running a huge operation in Uganda, supporting 101 children at an orphanage. It is the most wonderful, most empowering and nourishing project I've ever been a part of, and I'm so excited to actually be going there in August. And when it comes to donating, nobody wants to donate, nobody wants to support. But it's funny that, because yesterday on Instagram you were telling everybody how you're such a great person and you make all this money, you're such a noble guy, and how you're just like, you know, such a great person to follow. But when an opportunity comes to present the character that you pretend to be, you go missing. Isn't that interesting? Now, you need to develop a consistent character, a character that genuinely wants to make the world a better place. And it might not be fancy, it might not be attractive, but it works and it's real, it's authentic, and it's long term, it's built to last. And listen, I know most people are just reacting to what happened to them. I understand, you know, from somebody who felt rejection at a very early age, you know, growing up without a real father figure, feeling abandonment, running into betrayal, having a terrible breakup with an ex-girlfriend, losing friends in the process, just experiencing a lot of betrayal. It was very easy for me to be bitter at the world. But you know what? I chose that example to be everything that I wish to see in the world. I became someone who's reliable, relatable, respectful, loyal, show up when people need me, do things for the betterment of people, not expecting anything back, being trustworthy. And as I said before in this video, you will never be able to find someone who will be able to sit, hand on their heart, and say that I've genuinely done them over. I know that for a fact, and that's why I sleep well at night. My conscience is clear, so should yours. And there's something powerful about when you use what happened to you to pour out something greater into the world, rather than live in response and react. In my opinion, it's very weak to have trust issues because someone distrusted you. I think one of the most powerful, strong, and really inspiring things you can do is use the example of what happened to you to make sure that you're never that to somebody else. So I make a conscious effort to really love and care for people that are around me, to be loyal, to be trustworthy. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And although I'm not perfect, and I'm not here to pretend to be perfect, I'm just trying to show you a better way of doing things. Because most people in this entrepreneurial space are here for what they can get and what they can get right now. They're not thinking about 2, 3, 4, 10 years. They're not thinking about who they're becoming. They're not thinking about character. They're not thinking about wealth building. They're thinking about how can I be the main guy right now at the cost of anything. I've been running a community called Empower Global Network over the past 5, 6 years. And honestly, it's the most enriching feeling, teaching people how to become real, actual entrepreneurs. And basically how to not be like everybody else. It's not for everyone. Only the strong survive, because I tell you what, the allure of getting things quick is going to be there all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've been shielded an opportunity to make quick buck. I've had the opportunity to turn on people for millions but I just never will, and I never would. And you know why? Because I'm obsessed with playing the long game. I'm obsessed with being the character that I know we should all be and setting an example of the way it should be. And so that's why the best thing for me, my biggest flex, I want to leave you with a question that you can ponder on with yourself, because here's the thing, you can lie to the world, but you can't lie to the mirror, okay? You can wear 1,000 masks for the world, but the mirror will see the one underneath. If a young person came to you and said, show me how to build a business, show me how to be successful, would you truly know how to lead them to actual success? Or will you just share a formula that you're blindly following yourself?